Our next reader is not, I repeat, not the Eric Smith from Wikipedia. Very important. Now, this Eric Smith is a writer and teacher at Pierce College and Devi University. He holds degrees from both Keene and Arcadia University. Great school, by the way, right, Tamara? Great school? Arcadia? Woo! Arcadia! And he appears in the Silverstein video, You Rock the Deuce! And unfortunately, I'm too old to know what that means. His first novel, Textual Healing, comes out this fall, and you can check him at www.ericsmithrocks.com. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Eric Smith.
Hello. All right, so I'm going to read the first couple pages from my book, and I have the first part of my reading here and the second part on my iPhone because I forgot to print it out. So thank God for technology. Yeah. So here we go. Fragrance. Every book has a fragrance. This is not limited to the common old book smell that may immediately come to mind, the sweet scent of yellowed ancient pages grainy between your fingertips. For some, certain books smell like a former flame, a lost love, of violet body spray still clinging to the pages. Others, like an abandoned homeless child, damp, dirty, carrying the smell of sadness and loss. Most carry the scent of promise, bright pages shining white against the fluorescent light of the local bookstore, gleaming like hundreds of huge pearly teeth bound together in a paperback smile. The occasional few, despite their unblemished pages, maintain a frown of defeat, holding on to one another, tightly pressed together in the dollar bins of Barnes & Noble, the ink held still like unshed blackened tears. Can we just sit down and talk about this? I asked Daniela as she storms around the living room of my apartment, her wild and fiery red hair tossing about with every quick turn of her head. She's dressed in her favorite tight blue jeans and wearing a Bruce Springsteen t-shirt that she cut herself in an obvious and successful attempt to show off her firm, toned stomach. God, she even has that belly button ring in, the one that's just a long stream of silver with small faux diamond bits jingling around, sparkling as they sway back and forth, as though her navel was crying. She tosses her various possessions into a large paper shopping bag, a framed photo of her parents, scattered bits of clothing, various CDs which show off her amazing taste in music, Springsteen, the Eagles, Gin Blossoms, Bon Jovi pre-1990, and assorted DVDs that reveal her horrific taste in film, movies by Joel Schumacher, the talentless hack who put nipples on Batman's costume. She turned around, her hair dancing over her shoulders, green eyes burning and blazing, cauterizing holes into my chest. Stopping only to smirk at me and take another look around the room, appearing satisfied, she made her way to the door, where I'd been standing the entire time, as though my presence there would delay her further, stop her from leaving, prevent the inevitable. She stood in front of me, giving me an annoyed look as I blocked the only way out, save for the window, which, judging by how things were going, I would probably be leaping from later this afternoon. Move, she said forcefully. Do you still love me? I immediately blubbered out, swallowing what I believed was going to be a sob. I looked down at the hardwood floor, unable to meet what was, no doubt, her patented angry stare, complete with wrinkled nose and lightning sharp eyebrows. My eyes drifted towards the black and white vintage Converse sneakers she had bought me for our 3-year anniversary last month, already dirty. I looked back up at her, her face still hard, frozen like an alabaster statue, and an eternal look of accusation. When was the last time you wrote anything? She asked. Let's think, the last time you opened your laptop was 2 years ago? She crossed her arms and cocked her right eyebrow, a trademark facial expression that can be either incredibly sexy or horrifically intimidating. One minute, the eyebrow is reminiscent of Anne Hathaway, and the next, she's a torturer asking questions in a prisoner of war camp. She's Naveen Andrews as Saeed on Lost, and she's not getting the answers that she wants. Right now, she's the dictator, oppressing the peasants and poor sharecroppers of my heart. What does that have to do with any of this? I asked in a voice that tried desperately to sound demanding, while turning my head to the side in a feeble attempt at not really knowing what she was talking about. But I know. And I know that she knows that I know. And I know that she knows that I know that I... or something. And I know her all too well. While walking on dates, at parties, wherever, I couldn't help but feel constantly insecure with her. What was she doing with a guy like me? Someone petrified of veering away from his standard t-shirt, jeans, leather jacket way of life. My wardrobe hasn't changed since I was 17 years old, and my hairstyle was still the same as it was my sophomore year of college. She stared at me blankly. "Daniela, please. You're my... Don't feed me that Muse bullshit," she screamed, swinging her arms down to the side, each finger blasting out from tight fists like spikes off an urchin. "I've been hearing it for the past 3 years and haven't seen a single page written about me." And her lip quivers for just a moment, and suddenly there's a rush of nervous excitement at the thought she might cry. She might reconsider and stay. Please, just one single tear, one small stream of saline trickling down her cheek, leaving it salty, waiting to be kissed away. That's all I ask. Ugh. How sad is it that the idea of her crying instills hope in me? Is it some prehistoric instinct built in the fabric of every man where he finds joy in being the stronger, more dominant sex? She regains her composure and stares directly at me. It's almost as if she strained all the emotion out of her face and sucked the upcoming tears back in. The droplets vacuumed inside of her tear ducts. And we're back at where we started. Those green eyes again. That sexy, daunting eyebrow. "Well, that's not true," I said, pushing it, gesturing with my pointer finger in a very matter-of-factly way. I pause for a beat and I nod. There was the sonnet. And that does it. Her fury boils over, her rage spilling out in almost visible heat waves. "You wrote that before you met me," she screamed, looking frantically about, possibly for something in the immediate area to throw at me, a glass, a vase, a Volkswagen, anything that could potentially cause me serious and bodily harm. I was physically safe, but emotionally, not so much. I tried to speak. I even opened my mouth for a moment as though to make some kind of point. And I stopped. There was no point. There'd be no further explanation. This was finally it. After months of fighting, weeks not just without sex, but no sign of affection whatsoever, I prepared myself for this day. I'd rehearsed the speech 1,000,000 times on my way to work, in front of the mirror, and in the shower we no longer used together. How I was tired of being the trophy boyfriend, the successful one, the sugar daddy who gave her everything without asking for much in return. That she could go, she could leave, and wouldn't be missed. However, here the moment was, and the words had long since left me. I didn't want her to go. I attempted a weak smile, and I stepped away from the door. Her face turns to stone, and she walks out into the hallway. Out of the elevator, out of the building, out of my life. I open the window. A small strip of New York City in the morning is peering back at me, barely visible between the buildings in front of mine, but there sure enough, with the sun just freshly risen. After a few moments, I see Daniela walk out the front door of the building, away, down the street. She stops, looks up, and seeing me in the window, gives me the finger. With a singular, long, glorious, back-scratching nail thrusting powerfully into the air, her swear as elegant and sexy as it is hateful and excruciating. She spins around. She turns with the passion of a Marine and the gracefulness of a ballerina, and continues her walk as I close the window, sighing and wordless. I walk into the kitchen, scavenging for food. It isn't much despite my apartment's coveted address, doorman and all. Your standard white appliances, since faded to an off-white coloring from age, with a broken tile floor and a countertop that has absorbed the smells of every meal ever placed on it. I open the cupboards, which creak in the silence, empty save for several vacant food boxes and my only cookbook, a man, a can, and a plan. Hidden behind the detritus, I find an open package of Pop-Tarts, with a single, lonely, stale tart left, the frosting cracked and the sprinkles broken off into the bottom of the silver packaging. Before I depress myself any further with my breakfast pastry life, I throw the tart away, the way Daniela threw me away. Like I was nothing. And now I can't stop crying. I want to apologize to the Pop-Tart, throw open the garbage can and lift it out into the light, hold it so its shimmering veil of aluminum plastic wrap catches beams of sunshine streaking in through my window. I'm sorry, Pop-Tart. It wasn't your fault that you were born strawberry, that your delicious frosting didn't last, that your once gloriously colorful sprinkles have faded with age and fallen off, that you didn't live up to the promise of the decorated box you're contained in. Please, take me back, Pop-Tart. I can change.